Hi children, we move on to our next chapter, chapter 3, Fibre to Fabric. In your textbook, page number 18 of your NCERT textbook. I know that I am sure that all of you have a wide variety of dresses, isn't it? All of you have a wide variety of dresses. What are these dresses made up of? Dresses are made up of fabrics. Your dress material is made up of fabric. Now, all these dresses made up of the same fabric? All your dresses are made up of the same fabric or not? No, all the dresses are made up of different types of fabric. Some dresses may be made up of cotton fabric, some may be made up of silk fabric, some with woolen fabric, then some other will be made up of synthetic fabric. So, fabrics are of different types. And in this chapter, we will see what these fabrics are made up of. Now, for that, you take a piece of old cotton fabric, an old piece of cotton cloth, cotton fabric, old piece of cotton cloth, a small square piece of old used cotton fabric, cotton cloth. Try to find a loose thread at any of its edges. A loose thread will be there at any of its edges. If it is not found, you can find one with the help of a scissors. Find one loose thread at any of its edges. Just pull it out. Same way, try to pull all the threads from this cotton fabric. Then you will understand that this cotton fabric is made up of a large number of cotton thread. This fabric is, so you will be able to pull out all the cotton threads from this fabric. So, the fabric will be converted to a large number of threads, nothing will be left, only threads will be left. So, it shows that the fabric is made up of thread, a large number of threads. Threads are known as yarns, we call the threads as yarns. So, fabrics are made up of yarns, fabrics are made up of a large number of yarns. Now, what these yarns are made up of? For that, take a single thread or a yarn, take a yarn. Now, you got a lot of cotton threads, this you can all do at home. All of you will be having used clothes at home, the cotton clothes which are not in use. Take a small piece of cotton cloth, pull out a loose thread from that. Take a thread, keep it on the table. Keep the loose thread, the thread that you got on the table. One end of the thread should be pressed with your thumb. One end of the thread should be pressed with your thumb. The other end you have to scratch along its length with your nails. With your nails, you scratch along the other end should be scratched along its length with your nails. You can see that the thread splits up into thin strands. At the end, the yarn, the thread splits up into thin strands which we call as fibers, which are known as fibers. At the end, it will be splitting into thin strands called fibers. The same fibers you might have seen when you try to needle a thread. The needle will have a small eye, an opening which we call as eye. When you try to needle a thread, the same difficulty you will be facing. Sometimes the end of the thread will be split up into thin strands. What do you call those small strands that make up the yarn? That is called fibers. So, each yarn is made up of a large number of fibers. So, you will be able to pull out these fibers from the yarn. Fibers are twisted and the yarn is made. So, you can pull out the fibers from the yarn. So, all of you please do it at home. You all have used cotton cloths. So, take a thin strand or yarn from it and again scratch the yarn in such a way that you will be able to pull out the fibers from it. So, what is fabric made up of? Fabric is made up of yarns. Yarns are made up of fibers. I hope it is clear to you. Fibers make up the yarn, yarns make the fabric. So, using an old piece of cotton cloth, you can verify it. You will be able to pull out the threads or yarns from it, and from the yarn you will be able to pull out the fibers. Okay. Now, we will see what are the different types of fibers. Fibers are of different types. Two types of fibers we have. Fibers are classified into two types, natural fibers and synthetic fibers. Fibers are classified into two, natural fibers and synthetic fibers. Natural fibers are obtained from plants and animals. Natural fibers are obtained from plants and animals. Examples of fibers which are obtained from plants are cotton and jute. Examples of fibers obtained from plants are cotton and jute. We get cotton fibers from cotton plant, we get jute fibers from jute plant. Now examples of fibers obtained from animals are, one is silk and the other one is wool. Silk and wool. Silk is obtained from the cocoon of silkworm. Next year you will learn. Silk is obtained from the cocoon of silkworm. Wool is obtained from the fleece or hair. Fleece or hair of animals like sheep or goat. From the hair of sheep or goat. And wool is also obtained from the hair of animals like rabbit, yak, camel, etc. Okay. So these are natural fibers. The fibers which are obtained from plant and animal sources are known as natural fibers. Examples of fibers obtained from plants are cotton and jute. Examples of fibers obtained from animals are silk and wool. Now where do we get silk from? Silk is obtained from the cocoon of silkworm. Wool is obtained from the fleece or hair of animals like sheep and goat. And it is also obtained from the hair of animals like rabbit, yak and camel. Okay. Now going to synthetic fiber. For thousands of years only synthetic fibers were known. People were able to make fabrics from synthetic natural fibers only. So for thousands of years only natural fibers were known. People were able to make fabrics with natural fibers only. So later synthetic fibers made up of chemical substances. Fibers which are made out of chemical substances were known. They are known as synthetic fibers. So fibers which are made from chemical substances are known as synthetic fibers. So synthetic fibers were not known earlier. Thousands of years only natural fibers were known. Later fibers made from chemical substances came into existence. We call them as synthetic fibers. The fibers which are made from chemical substances are known as synthetic fibers. So they are not made from any plant or animal source. They are made up of chemical substances. They are also known as man-made fibers by using chemical processes. Examples are nylon, polyester. You will learn about in higher classes. Now just learn the examples only. Nylon, polyester, acrylic are examples of synthetic fibers. So what are synthetic fibers and examples? You need to learn only that in the definition and examples only in 6th standard. You will learn more about synthetic fibers in 8th standard. Okay. So the fibers which are obtained from chemical substances are known as synthetic fibers. So they are not made from any plant or animal sources. Examples are nylon, polyester, acrylic. I hope it is clear to you. So what are fabrics made up of? Fabrics are made up of threads known as yarns. What are these yarns made up of? Yarns are made up of fibers. Fibers are of two types, natural fibers and synthetic fibers. Natural fibers are obtained from plants and animals. The examples of fibers obtained from plants are cotton and jute. Both are obtained from cotton plant and jute plant respectively. Now fibers obtained from animals, wool and silk. Silk is obtained from the cocoon of silkworm. Wool is obtained from the hair or fleece of animals like sheep, goat, etc. And they are also obtained from the hair of rabbit, camel and yak. Okay. So they are animal fibers. Now synthetic fibers are obtained from chemical substances. The examples that you have to learn are nylon, polyester and acrylic. So that's all for today. Thank you children.